Well, welcome to New England, guys. April 6th. It snowed all day yesterday. The ground was pretty warm, so it's not really... It's not going to stay long, but come on, man. It's April 6th. All right, guys, welcome back. As you can see, the weather here is horrible. I hate New England. If you live in a warm climate, I'm jealous. Anyway, let's get back on this thing. I want to get it done. What we're going to do today is we're going to do some welding. And I did some stuff off camera, so I'm going to show you right now what that was. As you can see here, I put the new bushings in, greased them all up, and that's all set. And I installed the new brake pads on this side. So this side, the driver's side, is all set. And all we got to do now is finish up the passenger side. All right, we're at the bench right now. We're going to go over some of the things that I just purchased. I bought a new upper A-arm bolt, and this is the part number right here if anyone's interested. It's also the size, the length, and everything. eBay, I think, the cheapest place I found. Basically what I did was I took the part number, which is right there, got it from Partzilla, and then I searched eBay and found it. It's made in Taiwan, but it's just a regular grade 8 bolt. And the spacer, we'll go to the new spacer. And this is an actual AutoCAD part. I also, there's a number right there if you're interested. I did get this on eBay as well. I bought this from a ATV dealership, I think. The data manufacturer's right there. And it's been on their shelf for quite a while, I guess. It's 3 of 6 or something. I don't know. Anyway. And then I bought a new nut because there was no nut on there. And that's the nut size, if you can see it. It's a 10 millimeter, and the pitch is 1.25. Anyway, that's the hardware I need to mount that. Now, these are what I have made. Remember, I showed you guys in the last video my template. I had these made up. I had them made up in 3 different thicknesses. This thickness here, here's the original one. This thickness is pretty close to the original one. It's a little bit thicker. And I wanted to try them all to see which one fit best. I haven't tried it yet. That's the thinner one. This one's, I think, the thickest. This one's in the middle. No, that's the thickest right there. So I have 4 different thicknesses here, and I'm going to try to figure out which one I like best. I'm probably going to go with the thickest, or next to thickest. I don't think I'm going to go with these thinner ones. I'm going to go with a thicker one, make it more robust. I also have these pieces of metal right here. I save all the metal all my metal droppings and stuff that I have from when I build something, and I think I was picture framing some angle iron, so I kept the pieces that fell off of gussets for later in life, and these will make mighty fine gussets. So these are going to be the gussets that are going to go either on the top sides of these once I weld them in, and it didn't cost anything. So let's get back to the bike. Alright, let's put the spacer in. Let's get that in there. And I put the old bushings from the other side that was still, they're still actually still pretty good. I put them in here, and I'm going to do all this. I'm going to mock it all up and weld. So if these melt a little bit, it's fine, because I still have the brand new ones that I got to put in anyway. So that's why I'm using the old ones for setup, mock up, and all that stuff. And let's slide that bolt in there. And put this one on the other side. And put the nut on. Just to get this to where it needs to be. Alright, what I'm seeing here is we're going to need to cut some of this bottom off to get that in there. Alright guys, I got a ratchet strap up here, and I got a ratchet strap right there, and it is pulling it in tight. And let me get the light on that and you guys can see how nice that fits. So I'm going to weld not weld it, I'm not going to burn it in, but I am going to tack it right now in place, and then I'm going to try to line the other one up in the back. I think that's my easiest route for this. But again, that's a really nice fit, and if you look at the difference between material thicknesses, that's quite an upgrade. So I am going to tack that on right now. I'm not going to record it because I noticed I got some splatter burn on the lens of my camera in the last video, and I don't want to buy another GoPro, so I'm going to do it off camera. Alright, I have a couple of welds right there, and there's a couple of welds on that. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this apart, clean it up a little bit, and then I'm going to burn these in good. Alright guys, all welded in. I did put a gusset on the top. I mean, I don't make the most beautiful welds, but I know there's penetration there. And I got the gap across the top is even, and the other side is all welded in. Oop, as you guys can see there. And it just needs a little bit of paint, and it'll be good to go. I have this all assembled, shocks back in, everything's good. I'm going to do the brakes right now, and I think I'm going to record that because I didn't do the other side. So let me get you set up in the stand, and let's do the brakes. Alright, I think the first thing we want to do is clean up the rust that's on this. Just to get those pads to bite first time we drive it. Alright, that should do. Now the caliper's up here. I tucked it up out of the way while we were working. So this has to go back on. And once you know it, brake line goes underneath the shock. Anyway. And doesn't seem like this one's frozen, so we should be okay. So what you gotta do is you gotta push these pins in so you can get the pads off. And just a pair of channel locks will do fine. You just want to push it in enough so you can get them off. If you can. Seems like it's going right in. Might as well bottom it out while we're here. As you guys can see, they're glazed and grooved. These grooves could be from a rock getting in there, dirt, but there's still some meat on them. But like I said before, I want to make sure that this thing, when it leaves my garage, is 100%, and that includes brakes. She's pretty corroded, so let me clean that up and I'll come back. All right, synthetic caliper grease. I'm gonna load up the pins, both sides, smear it all around, make sure it's a good liberal coating here. All right, now we're gonna shove it back in. You can instantly feel how nice that moves now. There we go. They just stay on there loosely. That's it. And then you slide them on the disc, spread the pads, slide them on. That's it. Take your two 10mm bolts, come in from the back. That's it. Brakes are done. Make it a little easier to slide that rubber thing down. And it sure did make it easier. Leave it in the comments below. Am I the only one that likes the smell of blaster? This stuff here? I don't know. I think it smells good. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. Comment below. Let me know what you think. All right, none of these valve stems have caps on them, so I bought a bunch of caps, and these have O-rings in them. You can see there's O-ring caps. I have 30 of them in here maybe. You can see down, I don't know if you can see down inside there, but there's an O-ring down inside of there. And they're like $6 or something. It seems like every time I buy an ATV or something, they never have valve stems on them. And then they go and put air in them, and then dirt gets in the stem, and they wonder why they have a slow leak. And I found that every single ATV I've ever had that had a slow leak on a tire, it was the valve stem every time. All right, front wheels are on, everything's back together. I just touched the brake pedal feels incredible. Let's move on to something else. Now, if you guys remember, the battery tray, the battery compartment was missing the door. And one of my subscribers sent me an email with a picture of the door and everything, so I knew what it looked like. And I was just so happened to search in the old eBay, and Power Sports Nation has a eBay store where they, I guess they're like a breaker, and what they call what a breaker is someone who buys them and then takes them apart and sells the parts, basically. And they had one of these, and I think it was only like $12, so it would take me longer than that to try to make something. So I'm gonna go install this right now. All right, guys, I put a piece of cedar in there to make up the space for the battery. I don't know if this battery is the right size. Maybe the battery is bigger, but this battery does fit in there. And I put this piece of cedar and wedged it in there, so this battery doesn't flop around at all while you're driving. And now I'm gonna put the screw in the door. All right, guys, battery door is installed. I put a piece of stainless steel hardware in there, and we should be good to go. And this should capture the wire going up to the brake. And if I look right there, we got some exposed wire, so I am going to have to tape that. Alright guys, having battery issues with this camera again, but anyways, I started it up and it would not go in four-wheel drive, so I took the four-wheel drive solenoid thing off to see if I could figure out what's wrong with it. I checked all the fuses are good. There's power going to this, but this isn't engaging and disengaging the front differential for some reason. The only thing I can think of is maybe I fried it when I was welding. I'm not sure, but I just took it apart and it looked like this thing was jammed a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cover back on, put the screws in it, plug it back in, and then hit the four-wheel drive button and see if this thing does anything. Well, I can't figure this thing out. It works and it doesn't work. It works and it doesn't work. I think the motor might be going, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me try to show you guys what I'm doing here. All right, so what I'm doing is, what I figured out from looking at the machine is that the red wire, the black wire, I don't know what the yellow wire does. I think the yellow wire maybe sends light to the dashboard that this is engaged. But I know the black is ground because this is all plastic. So the black is ground. The red drives the motor one way, and then if you put power to red and white at the same time, it drives the motor in the opposite direction. And if I take these right now, and I just have I have a battery over here, a 12-volt battery. So if I put the ground and then power to this red, hold on. The motor works in one direction. If I do the power to both red and white, you can see the motor's going opposite direction. So it is working. I just don't understand why it stopped. I'm going to put it back together, and then I'm going to try testing it again through this plug. I don't know if this plug is no good or what, but let me do that. All right, went over to the machine. It didn't do anything. Let's try it again. See if it's the machine or if it's this thing. All right, it works. So obviously, it's either something with this socket or it's something over there on the machine. Let's go over to the machine and check that once more. All right, I got the key on, and we're supposed to have power on 2 of these plugs. So it'll be the red and the white here. Let's see what we got. See if you guys can see this or not. We got power on that one and power on that one. Now they're both supposed to have power when the 4-wheel drive is not on, and that keeps it to the off position. Now if I switch, if I put it in the 4-wheel drive, which is just a switch on the dashboard, only one of these should light up, which is the red. The red lights up and the other one doesn't. So the power is right on everything. It's just this socket must not be working too good. Huh. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on here. Why the power's not going from this into that. I guess I found out what's wrong. I cut those with the zip wheel. And I took all that off for nothing. And that was a pain in the ass to get on too. All right, let me reassemble. Now I don't know what the problem is. All right, so this is the wire, the ground wire that broke. This wire got hit too, and that wire got hit too. But what I'm going to do now is I peeled it back. I got an alligator clip on there. I got it on a freshly welded frame. And what I want to do is I'm going to plug this in, and I want to see if it works now. Alright, it's plugged in. I want to see if it works. I'm going to leave you guys right here, and let's see if we can hear it in motor. Alright, keys on, let's see. Looks like we fixed it. I soldered the wires together. That one is, I already got the shrink tube on it. I haven't shrunk it yet though. But as you can see, the wires are soldered together, so they should be good. Nice connection. And then I'm going to slide the shrink tube over like so. Tough to do with one hand. And then I'm going to shrink them and then tape it, and we should be good to go. Now, one other thing was, this thing was really, really hard to stop. Oh, I left the key on the whole time. Now, I have this choke right here. I have this right here that I want to wire up. I want to put this in for that cold start mechanism. So let me start by, I think I want to remove the airbox. I think I have to. Actually, let me show you guys how nice this starts once it's been running for a little while. This choke, another choke. And we definitely got to fix the fact that you don't want to be taking this engine cover off every time, because this is going to be sitting for long periods of time, because my buddy is going to leave it at the land up there. It might sit for a week or two before he mows the lawn again, or before he goes out in the woods or goes hunting, and it's going to be hard to start. So I want to make sure that I have this set up so that he doesn't have to take the engine cover off when he wants to prime the engine. I guess it's just something you have to do with this particular engine. I really don't like these constant velocity carburetors, man. I can't stand them. But it is what it is. Alright, so this is too long, so I need to cut it. I made a couple of marks. I made a mark right here and a mark right here. Now, the mark here is how long I need this to stick out, and this is how long I need the casing. So I'm going to cut it here first, then I'm going to pull this much back out the other side, and then cut it again. And I'm going to use a zip wheel because I don't want to ruin the casing. Alright, it's cut down, and you can see I got enough hanging out the end there. So, looks pretty good. Let's go try to put it in. Alright guys, the lever's in for the prime. Let me turn the light on here. You guys can see down there. you can see how I made this bracket right here. I just got some baling wire on there right now to hold it against it. It seems to be doing pretty good. It's kind of catching the grooves on this. We'll see if it stays. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. And then up underneath there, you can see my nut and bolt. And when I pull, you guys can see the plunger going down. I mean, it pulls the whole carburetor, but it'll be fine. It's definitely priming it. All right, guys, got the console back in, passenger seat. You can see the new primer button is there. It looks pretty good. Doesn't look bad. On the other side over here, I have this seat off still because I got a blown fuse right there. This one right here. And it is a, I'll show you. It's one of these little tiny ones, micro fuse or whatever they call it. 15 amp. So I got to pick a couple of them up. That actually controls the four-wheel drive, the front electrical lock in, lock out. I don't know what you call that thing. The actuator, front actuator, is controlled by that. And somehow I must have shorted it and
I left the key on the whole time.
Popped the fuse while I was rewiring it. But anyways, that's done. Welding's all done. Looks really good. I just need to put a coat of paint on it so it won't rust. I'll do that when it gets a little bit warmer out. It's too cold to paint right now. If you guys remember on the last video, I put the tar on this. It's all dry now. Well, I guess it's not completely dry. Getting close though. Getting close. And then we'll be good to go. So that's it for this week, guys. This thing's almost done. Once it's done, we'll move on to something else. Next video, I'm going to have everything that I need to do to this done. And my buddy's going to come over. We're going to install the winch. And then that's it. He can take it off with him when he leaves. Other than that, I want to thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Leave comments below, good, bad, indifferent. I'll answer them if I can. I want to just give a shout out to the guy who did tell me about the battery door that this was missing, because I had no idea. And he went out of his way to send me videos and stuff. Not videos. Send me pictures of what it's supposed to look like and how it's mounted. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who comments. But I just wanted to give him a thank you on the video here. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video, and hopefully we'll finish this thing up.